All right, here we go with Chapter 1, Section 4. It's entitled Rewrite Formulas and Equations. A couple of vocabulary words here. First off, a formula. It's an equation. It's an equation that relates two or more quantities. The equation that relates two or more quantities. To solve a variable means to rewrite an equation as an equivalent equation. I'm going to say, equation here. Write an equation as an equivalent equation. And you do this so that one of the variables is by itself. Okay? And an example of a formula that is a solution to it, if you look at a temperature formula, Fahrenheit equals 9/5 C plus 32. That's solving for the variable of Fahrenheit. Now, remember, when you're solving, you don't have to have it on the left. You could isolate it. You could have the equivalent equation of this, where it's on the right. All right, rewrite the formula with two variables. So here is the circumference formula. Solve this formula for r, so we're solving it for radius. Then find the radius of a circle with a circumference of 26 meters. All right, so we write out the original formula. Always write out the original formula. Then we divide each side. All right, previous section, we wrote how to solve an equation. You have to undo operations. We're trying to isolate r, so we have to undo both of these multiplications. So divide by 2, divide by pi. So you divide by 2 pi. And radius is c over 2 pi. Substitute the given value into the written formula. So we're taking this formula and plugging it in. Let's see here. I guess we would do C is 26 all over 2 pi. Which, when this reduces, becomes 13 over pi. That is your exact answer. 26 reduces, 2 reduces. And then this is approximately, let's see here, 13 divided by 3.14, so it's basically 12 divided by 3. 12 divided by 3 is about 4. So substitute 4. Oh, I'm sorry. And we did that by substituting in the given circumference, 26. And then we found the radius is approximately 4. Now you could check that makes sense, and you should really check to see how that works. So let's actually plug that in. Let's plug in C. Okay, so circumference equals 2 pi r. We're going to do circumference times 3.14 times 4. That's 6.28 times 4. Let's see here. 6.28 times 4 is 32, 12, 15, 24, 25. You can see even my rough estimate of what 13 over pi is got us very close to what we were looking for. All right, let's move on. Checkpoint. Complete the following exercise. Solve temperature formula this for C. Then convert 85 degrees Celsius. All right, so start by writing the original equation. And we have to solve for C. We have to isolate this variable. So we have to undo. So we have to undo operations that are happening in here in the order of operations backwards. Actually, I shouldn't, I think, pick this GEMDOS. Things maybe I did for you, I can't recall. Get rid of addition and subtraction. So we subtract 32 from both sides first. And now we have to get rid of multiplication. And we can either divide by the fraction, or when you divide by a fraction, it's the same as multiplying by its reciprocal. So we're actually going to multiply by 5 over 9, and over here by 5 over 9. 9 numerator, 9 denominator, 5 numerator, 5 denominator. C is all that's left over. And it's equal to 5/9 F minus 32. Now the reason the parentheses are here is because if you multiply one side by something, you have to multiply the whole other side by the same thing. Whatever you do to one piece, you do to all the pieces. So here's our equation. Now we're supposed to plug in 85. So now we take 85, 5/9 times 85 minus 32 should give us our C. 85 minus 32, let's see here, 5 minus 2 is 3, 53. We're going to do some quick estimating since we don't have a calculator yet. 54 and 9, that would reduce nicely. So I'm just going to say that this reduces to 6 and this reduces to 1. 9 times 6 is 54. 5 times 6 is 30. So our Celsius degree is about 30 degrees Celsius. So let's check. Let's use the original equation up here. 9/5 times 30 plus 32. So let's actually work this out better. 9 times 30. Okay, 270. How many times does 5 go into 270? 54. So that's 54 plus 32 gives us 86. That's pretty close. For completely guessing what 5/9 of 53 is, that's pretty close. All right, guided practice number 2. The formula for distance, d, between opposite vertices of a rectangular hexagon is d equals this equation. So on page 27, you should see this equation. D equals 2a over the square root of 3. A is the distance between opposite sides. Solve the formula for A, then find A when D is 10 centimeters. So solve for A. We solve by A. Here's division. So let's multiply by square root 3. 2a equals square root. All right, so that's the square root of 3 times d. Or I guess the better way would write d square root 3 is 2a. Then divide by 2, and so a equals d square root 3 times 2. It then goes on to say let d equal 10. So a is 10 square root 3 over 2. A is equal to, that reduces to 5, 5 square root 3. That's the exact answer. Now I'm going to say let square root of 3 be about 1.6 times 5. So 5 times 6 is 30. So A is approximately 80. It's exactly this number right here. So if it doesn't ask you to round to a decimal or anything like that, leave it alone. All right, so let's go and see what else we got going for us. Solve the formula A equals length times width for L. Then find the length of a triangle with a width of 11 feet and an area of 187 square feet. All right, so here's the formula. Write the area formula. Divide both sides by W. When we divide by W, cancels out, becomes 1, and you have A over W. Now substitute the given value into the written formula. So we're substituting an area of 187 for A and a width of 11. So it's 187 over 11. And let's see, how many times was 187? 11 going to 187. Oh, nice, 17 times. The length of the rectangle is 17. If you wanted to make sure you got this correct, you would just do, what 17 times 11 should give you 187. If it doesn't, you know there's a mistake somewhere. Here are some checkpoint problems. Solve the formula. This is the perimeter formula. Then find the width. Solve for W. So we write the original. And we're solving for W, so we got to get rid of the positive 2L first. Then we get rid of multiplying by 2. So our equation is W equals P minus 2L over 2. Once you have that, you put in the perimeter, the provided perimeter and provided length, and then calculate. So it tells us the perimeter is 32 minus 2 times the length. Divide all that by 2. So that's 32 minus 18, which I think is 14 over 2, which ends up being 7. So the width of this is 7 meters. All right, solve the distance formula. D equals RT. Solve for time, so we divide by R. And now you have the equation T equals D over R. It tells us what D and R should be. Travel a distance of 135 at a rate of 30 miles per hour. That's a rate. Thirty, 135, 4, 120, 15 or 150. decimal here. 30 goes into 150. 5 times. So 4.5 is your distance. Or time, I mean, is your time. Takes 4.5 hours. All right, guided practice 3 and 7. 3 says to solve the perimeter formula for L. So you look back at your notes, and the perimeter formula for W, or for, it was this, plus 2L. And we found out when we solved for L, or where was it? Let's go back a second. There. When we solved for W, it was 32 minus 32, P minus 2L over 2. This will look exactly the same, except since we're solving for L this time, so L is P minus 2W over 2. You plug in the values given. It tells us that width is 7, perimeter is 30. Plug it in. 30 minus 2 times 7 all over 2. That's 30 minus 14 over 2. That's 16 over 2, or 8. Let's look at number 7. Number 7 gives us the area formula. And we have to solve. We have to solve for h. So that's pretty easy. Just divide by everything that's going on over here. So my height formula is the area divided by 0.5 B1 plus B2. And if you look on page 27, you'll see that B1 and B2 are given to us. And the area. The area is 70. Half of 6 plus 8. Well, that's 14. Half of 14 is 7. So you end up with 70 over 7, or 10. 10 should be the number of inches. All right. Oops. Getting close. Rewrite a linear equation. All right, so it's just like a formula. You got to solve for y, so we undo the operations. We subtract 5x from both sides. Divide each side by negative 4. And we're done. Now you substitute in the given value. So x is negative 3. So you put negative 3 in there. And hopefully you remember from last class, I talked to you about good ways to get rid of, oh no, you don't want to do that yet because it's nice over here. So you're going to have to do some estimating. 9/4, negative 9/4 is 2.25. That's 15 over 4. That'd be 3.75. This minus that, that's a whole, should be like negative 6 is your solution for this. Rewatch this if you want. Otherwise, we're going to move on to the next equation here. Now solve this. Notice that there are multiple variables, and we're solving for y. So this takes a little extra work. Right, the original equation. Distributive property. Remember, we talked that the distributive property, take the 2, multiply by everything inside. The distributive property works like division, can be thought of as division if you want as well. 8y plus xy. What can both of these be divided by? What do they have in common? They're both positive, sure, but y and y. You're basically say you're going to divide by y, but really what you're doing is you're unmultiplying. So you take a y out in order from both sides, from both terms, in order to make it nice. So that's what we're going to do here. We're going to take out a y and be left with that. Then you're going to divide by 8 minus x. Sorry, divide by 8 plus x. All right, now to solve, substitute negative 6 in. 8 plus negative 6. Plus a negative, that's like doing 10 over 8 minus 6. 8 minus 6 is 2. 5. So our answer is 5. All right, checkpoints. I hope you are seeing enough of these problems. The checkpoint here, solve the equation for y, then find the, all right. So for this, isolate y, subtract 6x first. Multiplication is going on here, so divide. Then plug in 4. That's 14 minus 24 over 2. That becomes negative 10 over 2, or negative 5. Here is the undistributive property. They both can be divisible by y, so now we take a y out. And then we divide by this whole term. And your equation should be y equals 26, 3 minus 4x. And again, x is 4. So that's 26. That's 3 minus 16. 26 over negative 13 is negative 2. Nice job. All right. A couple more things here. Guided practice 8. Remember, you have to do all these guided practices, so you might as well get them under the way. Maybe even try them all and then see if you did number 8 correctly. So we've got to solve for y. Add 6x to both sides. And you already have your new equation. And then it says when x is 2, so y equals 6 times 2 plus 7, 12 plus 7, 19 is your answer. So this, 2 parts. Number 11, 2x plus 5y. Negative 1. Solve for y. So get rid of the 2x. divide by 5, and you got your equation. That's the first part. Now, substitute x equals 2. So we got negative 2 times 2 plus 1 over 5. Well, that's negative 4. And negative 3/5 is what we get for this problem. Now, let's go back over. Let's see if we made any mistakes. Negative 1. Uh-oh. This needs to be a minus 1. Right here. When looking back at the problem, it's a minus 1 there. I forgot it. Which changes things drastically. So if you're using pen on here, I'm sorry. If you're not, good for you, erase it. It's a minus 1. So this is a minus 1, and this is why I thought maybe we did something wrong. Negative 4 minus 1 is negative 5. Negative 5 over negative 5. Negative 1. Alrighty. Guided practice number 14. Just follow the example from up above it on page 29. I don't want this video to get too much longer, so here. These are the types of problems we will be doing in class, but just make sure you get the note-taking guide done, all the guided practice, and we should be fine.